The recent unexpected drama on Stephen Colbert's late-night show has left the entertainment world in utter shock, as the legendary Hollywood actor Richard Gere stormed off the set following a fiery and intense clash with Colbert himself. Known for his calm and spiritual demeanor, Richard Gere's sudden outburst and walkout caught everyone off guard. The tension reportedly began subtly, when Colbert, in his usual sarcastic tone, started poking fun at Gere's long-standing advocacy for Tibetan freedom and his outspoken criticism of certain world governments. At first, Gere took it in stride, offering polite smiles and trying to steer the conversation back to his latest film. But Colbert pushed further, joking that Gere seemed more like a political activist than an actor these days, and wondered if the audience even remembered his last box office success. This remark visibly irritated Gere, whose expression darkened as he firmly responded that he uses his platform for meaningful causes, not for cheap Hollywood gossip, sparking the beginning of an on-air confrontation that escalated quickly. The tension in the studio thickened. The live audience sensed the change in atmosphere. Colbert, perhaps mistaking Gere's serious reply for good-natured banter, doubled down on his comments by sarcastically asking if Gere had plans to run for office in Tibet or China, given his political involvement. This was the moment where Richard Gere visibly stiffened, leaning forward and telling Colbert that making light of humanitarian struggles and human rights issues is neither funny nor appropriate for entertainment. Colbert, caught slightly off guard but unwilling to back down, replied with a smirk that Gere was getting a bit too dramatic for late-night TV. Gere's patience snapped. With a sharp tone, he retorted that what he stands for is no laughing matter, and that people suffering under oppression should not be the punchline of a joke. The entire audience, sensing the seriousness of the moment, fell into an uncomfortable silence as the verbal sparring continued without the usual late-night playfulness. Trying to regain control of the moment, Colbert switched the topic to Gere's age and career longevity, jokingly asking if the actor felt out of touch with the modern Hollywood scene, which was now dominated by younger stars and superhero franchises. But instead of lightening the mood, this comment made things worse. Gere looked genuinely insulted and pointedly told Colbert that his career choices are deliberate, focusing on meaningful cinema rather than box office blockbusters aimed at teenagers. He explained that not every actor seeks the spotlight of Marvel or action movies, and some prefer roles that challenge the mind and soul. But Colbert, in his typical teasing fashion, chuckled and said that sounded like an excuse for no longer getting calls from the big studios. At this, Gere stood up, his face stern and voice raised, declaring that he did not come to the show to be mocked for choosing integrity over commercialism. The mood on set turned ice cold. By this point, the production crew behind the cameras looked visibly tense, whispering nervously and signaling each other as the situation spiraled out of control. Colbert, sensing the backlash his comments were brewing, tried awkwardly to soften the moment by offering a half-hearted joke about Gere's iconic role in Pretty Woman, asking if maybe a reunion with Julia Roberts was the only way to save his career. This was the final straw. Richard Gere, his voice cold and steady, told Colbert that reducing a 40-year acting career and decades of humanitarian work to tabloid jokes was disrespectful and ignorant. The audience gasped as Gere removed his microphone, glared at Colbert, and loudly declared that he would not stay another minute in such a toxic environment. Without waiting for the host's reply, he stormed off the stage, leaving Colbert frozen and the audience in stunned silence. Production immediately cut to an unscheduled commercial break as chaos unfolded behind the scenes. Reports from the backstage crew reveal that Gere was livid as he exited the studio, muttering that these shows have lost all sense of dignity, and complaining about how Hollywood keeps dragging serious issues into cheap late-night humor. Meanwhile, Colbert sat alone at his desk during the break, staring blankly, perhaps realizing that he may have crossed a line too far. The producers and staff scrambled to figure out how to salvage the rest of the show, debating whether to cut the segment entirely or issue a public statement. Meanwhile, the live audience, many of whom were tweeting in real time, exploded the internet with posts about the confrontation. Within minutes, hashtags like Searchable Gere storms off and Colbert clash were trending worldwide, with fans fiercely debating who was right and who was wrong in the unexpected face-off between the seasoned actor and the sharp-tongued host. By the next morning, the media was ablaze with speculation and opinion pieces. News outlets rushed to publish articles analyzing every word exchanged during the heated interview, while entertainment bloggers dug up old instances where celebrities clashed. With talk show hosts, some defended Gere, praising him for standing up for his principles and refusing to let his humanitarian efforts be mocked. Others criticized him for being overly sensitive on a comedy show known for its irreverence and sarcasm. Industry insiders whispered that this fallout might affect Gere's future promotional appearances, as producers might fear another potential live meltdown. Meanwhile, Colbert's team released a carefully worded statement claiming that no offense was intended, and that their show has always embraced humor as a way to address even serious topics, a statement that satisfied no one completely. Fans of both Richard Gere and Stephen Colbert became deeply divided. On one side were those who believed Gere was right to defend his causes, insisting that activism for human rights deserves respect, even in an entertainment setting. They argued that Colbert had overstepped professional boundaries by belittling genuine global issues for the sake of laughs. On the other hand, Colbert's loyal followers insisted that Gere should have known the nature of the show he was appearing on, and that celebrities must learn to take a joke without personal offense. Social media wars erupted between these camps, with countless memes, video edits, and commentary videos flooding YouTube, Instagram, and Twitter. Some posts even suggested that the entire altercation was staged for publicity, though both camps swiftly denied any such planning. Further complicating matters, rumors began to circulate that Gere had privately demanded an apology from Colbert and CBS before agreeing to any future appearances on major networks. Sources close to Gere claimed he felt deeply insulted, not just by the jokes but by the studio's failure to intervene when things got heated. Colbert's team, however, reportedly stood by their host, arguing that no insult was intended and that Gere's outburst was unexpected and excessive. Hollywood agents and PR experts weighed in, predicting that unless resolved quickly, this public spat could damage both men's reputations. Gere's friends in the industry allegedly encouraged him to issue a calm, clarifying statement to the press. But the actor reportedly refused, believing the truth of his convictions was clear enough without explanation. Meanwhile, late night, television producers across various networks reportedly grew nervous over booking Gere for upcoming shows, fearing potential repeat incidents. This incident revived memories of other notorious celebrity walk-offs in talk show history, drawing comparisons to the likes of Joaquin Phoenix's strange David Letterman appearance years ago. Colbert himself, according to insider gossip, faced behind-the-scenes pressure from CBS executives to issue a more formal apology to de-escalate the situation, but he reportedly resisted, unwilling to publicly admit fault for fear of damaging his own image as the unfiltered, fearless, late-night host. Some industry insiders suggested this may mark a turning point in how political activism and celebrity personas are handled on such platforms, possibly leading to stricter pre-interview agreements and tighter control over show content. As the days went on, the incident remained headline news. Paparazzi snapped pictures of Gere in New York, looking serious and avoiding questions, while Colbert joked nervously about awkward interviews in his monologue, without mentioning Gere directly. Public curiosity only grew. Would the two men reconcile? Would CBS step in with an official apology? Or would this spark a new Cold War between Hollywood stars and late-night comedians? Industry experts speculated that Gere might take a break from public appearances, while Colbert might soften his approach with future guests. Regardless of outcome, one thing became clear. This fiery confrontation was now a permanent part of Hollywood legend, sparking debates on celebrity dignity, the boundaries of comedy, and the fragile balance between entertainment and advocacy. Both Richard Gere and Stephen Colbert had walked away from this clash with their public images altered, for better or worse, in ways neither could have expected when the cameras first started rolling that night.